Good morning, everybody.
Hi.
We are super duper excited today because we have my dear friend, someone who I absolutely love and adore, and someone who has touched me at the deepest levels through her music joining us today. We have Rickie Byars, and I'm
Yay.
Christine, and I'm here with my co host, Candace Thomas. And we're just really happy that you guys are here to join us and get ready for what I'm sure will be a really fun, definitely inspiring, high energy, high level conversation. So, good morning, Rickie. Thank you for saying yes.
You're welcome. And I know it will be an entertaining conversation.
Always. And don't be surprised if a cat jumps on Candace's lap or a dog comes by to say hi to me, or Rickie's got some construction happening at the house today. So maybe we'll hear a big drill in the background and it could be floors being laid or something like that.
Just keep moving.
We'll just keep going. Anyway, there are so many amazing things, Rickie, that you are doing and that you have hands in that are up leveling community, people, the world. It's hard to even know where to start with how to introduce you, but probably, well, how I first came in contact with you was through your music. And basically I stood in front of a television set and began to weep because I just was so taken aback by what I was watching on a live stream. So you are like the queen of inspiration and gosh, just spiritual community music around the world. And so, I mean, I have a lot of questions. We're one topic, two hosts and three questions, but I know for sure today will be well beyond three questions, because one of the things I think about when I think of someone of your genius with your writing and lyrics is like what inspires you. And I'm sure it's different for every song, but how do you tap into that and how do you trust that energy that comes to you and get the words on paper and bring it to life?
Well, my gift is an interesting gift. It seems that I write for what's about to happen. I'm writing. I write from where when the thought comes, the song comes, or the dream with the music shows up. When it happens, I'm very present in the moment, and I'm not thinking about the future. Okay, but when the song is finished, and all of a sudden, people are walking in the street, and protests are happening all over the country, all over the world, and I just wrote "Walk, Walk, Walk." Like someone really loves you.
Which, by the way,
and then what is life if we all can't enjoy it, live every day to harmonize our destiny?
Right.
If it's good for me, it's good for us, make it good for me, make it good for us. So that song, it came at the right time for the time. So, and that's what I found to be true about the gift that keeps revealing what it really is to me. My gift continues to reveal its nature.
Right.
The
lyrics are timeless. Every single song you've written from back, late 80s, early 90s, you can listen to it today and it feel the same way, as the day it was probably birthed. And regarding Walk, we are so, humbled and grateful you are going to let us use your music to kick off our podcast. So when this airs, that song will be the intro to this podcast.
Hey!
And we'll give you credit every single time. We love that song so much. And it was such a toss-up too between that and like Spiral Up.
Yeah, I was thinking, Spiral
That's
Up.
another really good one. And yeah,
I got a bunch of them.
Oh, I know. It's
I love that.
It's endless. And oh my gosh, let me just talk about that super quick. If you want to go through lyrics and kind of get to the back end of what prompted the song, this is an amazing book. And if you buy direct from Rickie, you can get the CD in the front. So anyway, we'll talk about that at the end. But yeah, so that's one of the questions, and that's part of your magic.
Yeah, it's
I have a
yes.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Candace.
I'm really curious about that magic of discovering your magic, as part of the process that you have is that it takes an incredible amount of trust, I think, if you're writing for the future and you don't know that you're doing that.
Mhm.
Have you always been comfortable with that? That's your style. That's your way of writing. I know that's not something that you can control. That's just what you do because you're channeling it. But have you always trusted that as part of your process, or was there ever a time where you wrote differently than how you write now?
No, I always could trust it. I mean, I wrote my first song when I was 3 years old, but I think Handel gets credit for it. Whoever it was that wrote Old King Wenceslas, dun, 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 but I just knew I wrote that song. That was my song. You know, well, I've been comfortable with songs that weren't mine. No, it's something that when I wrote my first song, when my first real song was birthed, I was 19 years old.
Wow.
And I believed in it so strongly that I performed it for the assembly, the freshman class, you know, I mean, the sophomore class. I performed it at the sophomore assembly with backup singers, you know.
Wow.
And,
Wow.
you know, I mean, it's just like, I know I can write,
Mhm.
you know, it's not like I always know that I'm beautiful, you know, but I know I can write.
Mhm.
That's something that I'm very sure about.
Mhm.
And I can lean into my writing. And and I've gone long stretches not writing anything in some periods in my life, and that's been okay because I'd written so
Wow.
much before then that you know, it's like if it, you know, if the gift comes again, great. If it doesn't, I've written enough that I can enjoy. And then the song comes, you know, because I'm here for it.
Mhm.
Here for it. I don't sit down to write like that. I'll sit down to hone a song, to
Mhm.
cultivate a song that's already started. But I just, you know, it's just an amazing gift that I have.
It's wonderful. And just to
So,
be able to step into it and trust it. I think so many people don't do that and they don't know how. And I mean, there are a lot of things about me I hold back and I go, I don't trust it. I don't trust it, you know. So that inspires me, just hearing that, just like lean into the things that we feel good when we're doing.
Yeah, I know I do. You know, life is just so amazing, and it's
Mhm.
not forever. I mean,
Mhm.
life is eternal. Life is eternal, but Rickie has an expiration date,
Right.
unfortunately.
Oh.
yeah,
But I'm
us
trying to
too.
leave enough
Yeah.
so that when I go, you can still remember me, you know. Yeah. But the deal is, it's like if time is not short, but if our time is temporary,
Mhm.
you know, then why not enjoy the gift that was given to you to enjoy and
Right.
to celebrate? I happen to believe that we were born to celebrate.
Mhm.
Now, sometimes we're born, depending on who we are, what part of the dimension that we come in to this planet in particular, you know, people, we're not born in equal situations.
Right.
You know, it's, I
Right.
mean, there is nothing equal about an incarnation. I mean, we just should throw out the word equal
Right.
because it has no merit there. You know, we all get one.
Right.
And the one thing that across the board, I believe that we can trust is that we all came to learn, you know, and what it is we came to learn and why we came to learn it is what a life is about. You know, it's what it's for. It's to really to see what it is. And at least from where I can see now, because I can't speak for all of the people on the planet, I can only speak from who I am and where I've been and the way I do it, you know, and hope that it inspires somebody else along the way, you
It
know.
does.
You know,
And
but you know,
again,
I mean, I remember once I was in India with this organization. At the time it was called Free the Slaves, now it's Voices for Freedom, and I was there with this amazing woman, Peggy Callahan, who's a film director. She used to be a television producer, and now she's a film producer, and but she's chairman of the board of this abolitionist organization too, so she's a pretty powerful, she's a cool, she's just tough.
wonderful.
And she loved me,
Mhm.
you know. And I didn't know who she was. She had to chase me down for 3 months before my office got back to her. Anyway, that's old stuff. So I was on an expedition, well, a trip with her, and we were in Nepal, and we were working with some people that were working, whose children were working for the slaveholder, because that's the way that they made, that they got the food, you know, her hands were already gnarled from cracking rocks, you know, to get to this granite that we use in our kitchen,
Wow.
you know, so these children are taking these stones on their back and sacks, and you know, and you get to see that and you go like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So Peggy goes like, she says, "Hun," because she's from South Carolina, I'm from North Carolina. She said, "Hun, now I need you to go in there in that tent and convince that woman to not let her children go to work with the slaveholder, to not sign their rights away. I need you to go and convince her of that." And I'm thinking like, you know,
Yeah.
like I didn't come, you know, I thought I was coming to do a music video while I was there and just observe their work.
Right.
But she asked me to go talk to this one, and I went in. So I'm looking at, and I did it twice, but the second one was the one that really, really got me, because she looked like me.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
You know, she had her cheekbones were a little more sunken, but she looked like she could have been like, she looked like a Marley kind of, you know, I mean, she really did look like, and I'm looking at her and I'm like a Bob Marley baby. That's what I mean. But a woman, you know, her name was Durga. And Durga, I'm telling Durga not to let your son, you know, I'm giving her these, I said, you know, and she says, I say, "I see that you're picking up this garbage, you know," and it's like, and then she picked, because she would pick up this plastic and get enough and sell the plastic, you know, I mean, like 10 rupees, that's no money. Like
Right.
there was no way she could make it, really. And her fingers were all messed up from cracking rocks. So I'm going in and telling her not to let her children go to work. And I was like, and I was telling her about what her future could be, because what we brought was the infrastructure for education for the children. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah.
And meals and clean water. And so, but she looks at me because she doesn't know that part. She's not on that side yet.
Right.
Okay. And she she says, and I had an interpreter that was there with me because she didn't speak English and I didn't speak her language. And so, but the interpreter tells me what she says to me. And she says, "How can you be so convinced of my future when my present looks so sad?" You know, how can you be? And she said, "How can you be so secure about my future,
Right.
when my present looks like this?" You know, and I took a deep breath and I looked at her and I was like, "Because I know who you are, because I can see you." You know, I say, "Because I see who you are, because I know who I am." And I know what I felt like when I had forgotten.
Right.
That we all forget. You know, no, there's nobody that has not forgotten, that I know. I said, but it's people that help us to remember. And I know that it's great in you, just like it's great in me, because you're my sister. And I had put my hand up. I said, "Put your hand." And she put her hand up. I said, "We look the same color." And I looked at my face. I hit her face. You know, I said, you're my sister. And the translator is saying this, and she starts to cry. And then she looks at me and she was like, "I'm not going to let you go. I'm signing on for the program." You know, but it was really deep. That I could see it for her. You know, it's like she had a hard life, but everything that had been hard in my life, you know, which by comparison is nothing, but still it was hard when it was hard for me.
Right. Right.
You know, we can't compare our hardships, but what we can consider them and honor them when it's time. You know, when it's time to spiral up.
Yeah.
You know, and not just spiral up ourselves, but spiral up, taking about 5 sisters with us at a time.
Exactly. No, and I think that when we can have that connection with another human being and see ourselves in them, and they see their selves in us, it will show us something that maybe we haven't seen before or haven't considered for ourselves.
Yes.
Because again, yeah, we all come in, but we all come in different places, you know, in different situations, and we can't sometimes see beyond our own circumstance, you know, unless we've been out in the world a little bit or had people like you that come through and give us that inspiration or show us some light in a different kind of way. So Yeah. Powerful. Very powerful.
What you got to say, Candace?
I was going to say, I mean, I don't know if that story, because you're a part of so many organizations right now. And like I was reading in your bio that you're not just a singer or writer, but I have so many thoughts. First is, I'm wondering if that's what informed you to create the things that you do with your annual retreats and the groups that you started and all the organizations that you're a part of, that conversation, or if you were already doing that prior to meeting that woman and having that conversation with her. And it also feels like, just like how you get downloads or dreams to write your music and you get the future and then you're there, it sounds like that's just how your life also operates, which might not be true, correct me. But it's like, hey, you just think you're going out to India doing whatever. And it's like, hey, so I need you to do some like healing here. I need you to change someone's life. Yeah. And then so you do that not just through music, but in a variety of ways. It just was on my mind.
Yeah, it's true. It's what I do. I'm good in the moment, and but I'm also, I don't know if everybody knows this, and then maybe we don't want them to know it, but I'm going to tell them that, that before we started today, Candace did a centering for us, and it was the most amazing centering. It was beautiful. It was a short period of time. And you said something that was so profound. You said, keep giving yourself permission to breathe. Just keep giving yourself permission to breathe. And with that, I put keep giving yourself permission to believe, that you can.
Ooh. Yeah. Chills, right?
Breathe and believe that you can. You can do, like, you came here to do that. Sometimes it gets to be about making money, like only, and not really expressing yourself. Now, I make money from my expressions all the time, but I don't make my expressions to make money.
Right.
Right.
I do it because I do it because I love to do it. And then it becomes, sustenance, on down the road. But first it's healing me. It's healing me. And I'm just doing the moment, Candace. I'm just doing the moment. Like, this is one of my favorite stories. Well, all of them are my favorite stories. I got the best stories, dude. Oh, I mean, girls. But one of my favorite stories is the one about doing what's mine to do, Terry. Candace might not know that song, but for our friends out there, I was a part of a spiritual community for 32 years. I was married to the minister. I was like the chief artist in residence there, the composer for many years, the choir director of more than 200 people in the choir sometimes. I mean, we just did amazing things, a powerful music and arts ministry, not just the choir, but dancing and yoga and everything. It was just a little world. But as things happen, it was time for me to go. And after 32 years, I couldn't grow anymore there. I was bumping up everywhere I went. I was bumping into the wall, one no after the other. You know what I mean? It was just like, it was time to go, with love, it was time to go. And another woman gave me this language. She said, she was a clairvoyant. And she said, you completed what you came to do there. You completed what you came to do. And we're lifting you out of there.
Ah, nice.
We're lifting you out of there, and lifted up. I did. I got lifted, but it felt like I lifted myself up. But anyway,
right.
Now, how did I start talking about that?
One of your favorite stories.
Yes. So you're a genius. So there was with Easter Sunday now. I've been gone for about 6 months because I left in November, and Easter's the first Easter, and it was Easter 2019. And I was going to be singing at Hot and Cool that Sunday. Hot and Cool is a little cafe in Leimert Park of Los Angeles. Leimert Park is kind of like LA's Harlem, sort of. you know, and I mean, very cultural place with some substantial vendors and jazz spots and good food and just a good feeling. It's not huge, but it's soulful.
Mhm.
And so I left Beverly Hills to go to Leimert Park. Okay, so that Sunday morning, Easter Sunday morning, I'm washing dishes, right? And I'm singing. Michael, who was my husband at the time, well, he wasn't really. We were in the process of divorce, but we were still sharing the same house.
Mhm.
He got up early and went on to where he was going because they had 3 services that day because of so many people showing up and blah, blah,
Right.
blah. This was before COVID, right? And my mom was still alive, you know, and so I woke up at around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, around 6:30, and I'm washing dishes, and and I'm knowing that what's happening at my old job
Mm.
is really going to be big, but
Right.
I knew that I was done there, right?
Right.
So I'm there washing dishes, and I was like, well, I just got to wash these dishes. This is what's mine to do right now.
Mhm.
I'm going to do what's mine to do. This is
Mhm.
what's mine to do.
Yeah.
And I will do that which I must do, I will desire to do. And they weren't even my dishes. He left the dishes. But anyway, you know, so I was washing the dishes and I started singing, you know, I know I'll do better doing what's mine to do, and I started singing this song. I know I'll do better doing what's mine to do. When I look inside of me, pondering what it means to be free, what it means, I know I'll do better doing what I came to do, you
Mhm.
know. And man, that song is so powerful. It's so powerful, but it holds a nugget in it, to tap into what we came to do. And if you don't know what you came to do, hey, do what you love. It'll get you there.
You'll get there
Wow, that's great.
by
That's
being in your heart space, I think. Just like with art or whatever. I don't ever make stuff to try to, well, it's nice to have money coming in. I love money. But I do things because it feels good, to craft something or try to create something or start nowhere and have it end up with something. And then things do kind of take off and spiral up
Yeah,
because it came
you're
from
amazing,
the
Tori.
heart-centered space.
You're
But
amazing.
Rickie, you're so right. Yeah, I second that. You are amazing, Terry.
I love you guys. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say I second that because I think about in the times when I've done the best in my business and made the biggest leaps, it was when I was super present and I don't even think I was focused. I was just being myself and being true to, oh, I'm very clear in this one moment what I am doing. I didn't have the whole big picture or the
Right.
next step. It was just right now. I do feel like this piece is what's mine to do, but I hadn't thought of it as in the way that you're describing, which is, yeah, like if we all just as best as we could stayed in what is mine to do, and then we can like spiral up. And I love that. So yeah, this is connecting a lot of dots. I love it.
Yeah, it's a long story, but it gets there.
No, and that just kind of goes to just show everyone how, just like being in that authentic moment, and we have these things going through our mind. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, turned into a song, and you were absolutely present with where you were.
Yeah,
And
I've been the kind of person, and I think we all will do it differently. It's not a method that I would say for other people to do because some people really, really do better planning and working that plan
mm,
in a Virgo kind of way,
right.
Right.
but I'm a little Libra, I'm all over the place, right? you know, and it's like I do well in the moment, like from this moment to the next moment to the next
Mhm.
to the next moment,
Right.
and then you look back and man, it's like 15 years,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
30, or it's a life. But I've been present, man. I enjoy my life and I enjoy the way I finally have accepted. I mean, leaving the other life I had
Hmm.
and stepping into this abyss of the unknown,
Right.
and finding that there was just love holding me
Oh, yes.
all around me, love, 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 love,
Hmm.
and just being lifted in that love and being willing to cry and, not know sometimes.
Right.
You know,
Well,
you
what
know,
you've created, I was so happy to find that you were doing the Sunday devotionals. I about lost my mind because I was really in need of that piece of what had become a very important part of my Sunday mornings was the music.
yes.
And yeah, so now it's like it's the best of all worlds because it's all music and the talent that surrounds you, whether it's at Hot and Cool Cafe or in the alley at Hot and Cool Cafe or in your living room.
Mhm.
Again, I just like sometimes tears will just flow out of me because what's happening is just so rich and so real and the talent is incredible. And I don't know, it's just such a gift for all of us. I sit there and I go, wait a second, I'm not having to pay like $1 million to watch this concert with these musical geniuses. It's like I get to turn on Facebook and live stream you on Sunday morning. Yeah. And so anyone who's listening, go find Rickie at Rickie Byars. And I think it's Rickie Byars, and you can live stream every Sunday Pacific time from 10 to 12. If you're watching from New Mexico, it's 11 to 1. And I guarantee you, it will start your day off right. I'm a walker, so many times I'm just listening. I'm not able to watch what's happening in the living room, but I'm on the trail and I'm dancing. And I'm sure people think I'm a little crazy, but I don't care. I love it, and it gets me up, keeps me moving, and it's a great way to start the day. And then when I miss it, I can tune in anytime. So I'm just so happy that is something that has given, that you're doing now that you weren't doing before. And
No,
now we have Wednesday nights, right? Tell us a little bit about what you're planning to do on Wednesday nights.
well, Wednesday nights will be more conversation
Mm-hmm.
and I think songs, but mostly conversations about the songs. And because I find that this inside of the song is the teaching.
Right.
When you were talking about church or the old way, the organization I was a part of, it was a very beautiful design there that I helped to design, in fact, with the way music would occur within the service. And there were things that you can count on. It's like when you go back to Catholic churches, pretty much it's the same. It's like you go there and all kinds of memories come. Not much about the future, just the past, mostly. When you go to Catholic church. But not to offend anybody, but I was Catholic for a while and raised pretty much. And the B hood, which is what we call it, the neighborhood, be brilliant, be, like you were saying, to be yourself,
Right.
Because that is what it's all about for me. It's learning who that is and then letting that person shine, for the liberation of all people. So anyway, and the celebration of life.
Mm-hmm.
So when we stepped into the program into the B hood, I had no inkling of what I was doing. Okay. It was just, but I knew it was going to be music, and I knew we were going to enjoy each other.
Right.
And there's a teaching that comes out of the gathering, just like teachings come out of any gathering.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
When you're with your friends and you're someplace, I mean, unless you're doing something stupid like getting drunk, and there's a teaching in there, don't drive.
Right. Right.
Just don't drive if that's what you're doing. But it's like when people are together, there's this something bubbling in all of us of what the next phase is. Don't you feel that?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
You're giving me chills. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's like, okay, we're here. This is happening around us. This is happening. It must be happening for a reason. It can't just be happening to us. We can't just be victims here and sitting ducks. Like there's something that wants to be known, lived, and shared. That because that's why we're going through it. Right. It's a purification. Right. It's a spiraling up. Right. If it's the dawning of the age of Aquarius, I mean, it doesn't look like, days of our lives. It's going to be way more interesting than that.
Right.
Right. You know what I mean? It's going to be like, it's what it is. It's like, so if we can trust that in our communities, whether it's 2 people or 3 people or 5 people, that the answer is there. It is in our connections with each other. That's what time it is. You know how they used to say the age of information and the age of this, it's the age of community now.
Right. That makes me really, really happy. And I think
You're giving me chills.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I mean, that's kind of how we've started doing this too. It's like we have so many great conversations just with Candace and I, and she touches me deeply and lifts me up and sees things in me that I don't see in myself. And one day, I was just like, oh my God, I wish other people could hear what you just said to me. And then she's like, well, you helped me too, right? I've told this story before, but we're like, well, we should just give this a try. And maybe even having a conversation with one other person, someone on the other end is going to hear that and go, oh my gosh, like that touches me. I want to learn more. I want to see where this goes. So that's exactly what we're doing. And we've just been blown away and just touched the people who have come forward and said, no, we'd love to talk to you guys. Yeah, you can talk to us. Yes. And you are a perfect example of that. So thank you for really like helping us kick off 2021 in a big way. Hello.
Right. And I have to say too, you walk your talk. So walking away from something that you helped to build, that you're a part of for over 30 years, and just knowing, oh, I've hit my ceiling and I've got to go, like that. And when you were talking about like doing dishes at a sink and like here, it's like, I'm right here. I know this is my purpose in this moment. I'm really curious to know as well, how did you deal with people in your community at that time? Was everybody understanding and like, yep, it's your time, go forth? Or were people not that way? Was it difficult with the people with the community that you were a part of?
Yeah, the community was devastated. I mean, because like, and now that I can look at it, now that 2 years have passed, only 2 years. I mean, it feels like I've been gone for a long time. I've only been gone for 2 years, and, but when I left, I had to do what was right for me. I stayed for the community way longer than I would have, I mean, I would have gone sooner, but I stayed for the choir, because I love the choir and I love my choir, because they were my instrument at the time. They were my friends, my family, it was just, they were my heart.
It was brilliant on all levels. And the other thing I was always super touched by was just how you share your platform with all these other artists. You brought forth so many people that were not on my radar that now are on my radar that I pay attention to. And it didn't just happen there. It happens in your living room. So it's a really beautiful thing that you share everything.
Well, and those people that Terry's talking about, like I had to walk away from the community. I didn't walk away from the people.
Right.
But I had to walk away from the organization that created that, and it was just time for me to go, and so I think people are finding their joy again because they can find the music.
Right.
The absence of the music put a big hole. The absence of, and because sometimes, people really underestimate the power of music within a community, like, or the power of artists.
Right.
Even in Catholicism, you hear about, you hear about the archbishops and the Pope and, but you don't hear so much about the artists. Just Michelangelo, pretty much. Michelangelo painted the scene on the, but you don't think about the people who design those cool robes that the monks wear. You don't think about the fashion design. You don't think about the color, the paint, who paints the place, who keeps it beautiful, who does the set design, who writes the music, who sings the Gregorian chant, who created the instruments. It's like they're all artists. They're all artists, but they're not on the front. But when you snatch off everybody's clothes, everybody go like, uh-oh, what happened here? And answer to your question, when I left, it was kind of like something was snatched away. It was that vibration, the harmony, the music, and But I think people are really feeling a lot better these days because they know where they can find me.
I agree.
Good.
I'm one of those people, so thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Amanda.
In fact, it was Terry that got my radio station back up. Terry and Dr.
Well, that was a late night phone call with Lori and I, where we were like, God, we just missed the music so much.
Try
But
to put the radio station back on. You
we
got
got
it.
a radio station. I mean, the things that I have watched happen in your universe over the last 2 years are just mind blowing. So if you ever want to really just be inspired 24/7, again, it's a platform that you're using to focus on other artists and showcase all different sorts of music. And we can, it's amazing. I sat yesterday and worked and, listened to B Radio. Is it b-radio.org or is it bradio.org?
bradio.org. Yeah.
So jump on there. I mean, if you want like the best radio station in all of the land, just listen. Now, will you be taking some of your Wednesday night things that you're doing online and maybe re-airing those on B Radio at some point?
Yes, we will be. That's a great, that's part of the design. Yeah.
I love it. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I adore you. I love you, and you do nothing but put good into the world. I would love for you to quickly too, if you can share with us about Kayumba and kind of how that started and some of the things you guys are doing there.
Well, kind of touched on it a little bit. When I was in Nepal with my first trip there, with the Voices for Freedom now, I was on the plane ride coming back home, and different people in our entourage were talking about what it would take to have a village school, or to empower a village. What's absolutely necessary to bring. I'm going to act like I don't hear that, and then you act like you don't hear it too.
Okay.
But what will be needed? And say we're talking about, solar lighting, clean water, and they went down the list of meals and what would be necessary, and then and how they would sponsor a village. And somebody was like, well, I want to sponsor a village, and so people are, I want to sponsor a village, and I was thinking like, well, first of all, I didn't have the money at the time to sponsor a village, whatever that was going to cost. But then I thought, I was like, but that's not my village.
Right.
Like my village, I started thinking, I was like, my village is right about 2 miles from where I live.
Right.
And that takes me right into Skid Row, where people are homeless who look just like me on the street. It's like, it was like I could help. And I still do. I'm part of I'm on the board of directors for Voices for Freedom.
Right.
But my work is in the community here. So Kayumba was birthed because of that trip, Terry.
Okay.
Because I wanted to build something that would be substantially serve underserved communities. And Kayumba means creativity. So a group of artists, we all got together and we visioned together and came up with a beautiful Saturday school, because I wanted to start a school, and and I was on fire for the school, oh my God. It was just, I was just on fire, and brought the people around me who would be on fire too. And we did it. We did beautifully. We did that for about 1.5 years. And we did some empowering empowerment seminars for Continuation High School, which is a high school where children weren't doing well at all in the regular schools. And so we went there and really changed it around. My team did. And then we started doing summer camps. Yes. So we did summer camps, and we did that, for up until this summer.
Right.
And then Kayumba, which is about bringing excellence to the community and joy, became what's happening in the B-Hood. So our creativity went to a community happening that features the artists who are many times forgotten, and providing joy and upliftment for people all over the world. Because I figure if we can have happy parents, we can have happy children.
That's exactly right.
Ooh, yep.
Exactly right. Candace?
Yeah. No, I'm just sitting here like feeling very honored that we get to, thank you so much for being with us today and taking the time. You know, it's interesting because you're so grounded, yet you are super wooey in a great way. And when a couple things that are standing out to me that are very clear is when people hear your music and hear you on the platforms, and Terry's talking about how it impacts her so heavily and so greatly. It's because, again, there's something, it's not just the lyrics, the stuff that gets downloaded to you that you're bringing through. It's not just lyrics or the sound or how you play or how you sing. It's the energy that comes through it. So I'm getting super wooey, but it really is like, if you could hear something and be deeply healed by it, again, on all levels, that's what's happening. It's like your music is just the vessel or the portal by which people get this healing, get this feeling of community, get this feeling of, when you were talking to that woman about, I see you, I feel like your music is the vessel by which people are seen, where they can see themselves, they can feel themselves through what you do. So I'm just sitting here like, wow, it's blowing my mind. I'm a psychic medium, and I can just see how the energy is flowing. It's like, oh, wow, badass, nice. And then the second takeaway I've gotten this is if Terry Dean calls you late at night and says, do something, you do it. And then it works out.
Oh, yeah, we've had those conversations too.
That gave me chills.
Oh my
No, for anyone watching.
I love you guys. No, every now and again things just like will drop in, and yeah.
Yes.
But that's exactly it, right? Like,
Yeah.
even though, Rickie, you're talking about getting those downloads for music, and I know you get that in like every area of your life, the same thing does happen with Terry, where she'll like give you that call, and we've all, those of us who know Terry, we've gotten that Terry Dean call, and it's like, hey, so I have an idea for you. And it's straight just from the divine. And it's like, you just damn do it. You don't question it. You go, okay, yeah, I hear that. And I'm going to start implementation on that right away. But it's that same thing of, Terry, I feel like it's the same. Like, you're just in the moment. You're super present. You get the hit, and then you just do it immediately in that moment. You know, like, what's yours to do? It's like, I'm just going to pass this along. And it's, you're not a Miss Bossy. Sometimes you can't be a Miss Bossy Pants, but you're not a Miss Bossy Pants when you do that. It's just sort of like, hey, because just your vibe and your whole deal. So that's one of the reasons why I really listen when you tell me to do stuff when other people can't get me, when they give me suggestions or advice. I'm like, but if Terry does, I'm like, oh, okay, let me look into that.
What time do I need to be there? Well, Candace ended up with a radio show that way on one of our big channels here. It was really fun. I was just like in conversation with one of the account reps, and something came in, and I was like, well, have they ever thought about, I have this friend and she's really good at, and I don't know, she would be a great guest. And they said, we'd love to talk to her, and they hired her on the spot. So for about 6 months, Candace was doing like morning drive time. She goes, if anybody else
on the most popular radio station in Albuquerque. I wasn't even like on an AM channel. I was like on FM. It was a big deal. So yeah.
But I think too, I feel so incredibly blessed to be around amazing people that light me up. And, it's just like, I don't have to say anymore. You guys both know, and I certainly don't need to share it with anybody who's listening. But when I feel that thing, I just do the next thing. And if it feels right, I think we have to share it. And, just always trying to be aware and paying attention to greater good for all of us, not just for ourselves, not just for the bottom line, but like what would be a good connection over here for these two people. I want Rickie and Violet to meet. I just feel like that's the good connection, because they're both so authentic at their core. And I don't know, I just feel like magic can continue to happen and touch more people, and more people benefit on the back end. So
yeah. And it's important to know sometimes when you don't want to do it. Somebody called me, a beautiful woman, very powerful. She's really a go-getter. She must be Gemini. But anyway, she called me and she was like, she had a dream. Oh, Rickie, I had this dream. And then she's giving me this dream. And, and she, it was a great dream that she had,
Mm-hmm.
but I could see I was going to be working for now on, it's like, but I listened to it because it was on down the road. I might have the energy for it.
Right.
She obviously had the energy for it, but it was not my dream.
Mm-hmm.
It was her dream.
Chills.
Right.
It was her dream.
Right.
And I told her, and I told her that on that conversation, I was like, it's great. I said, I know somebody who's been a part of something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something about bringing people who've been incarcerated, taking them out and creating a choir and their stories. And then it can be national and then international, global and blah, blah, blah. And I could hear where she was coming from, but it was just a whole lot in that.
Right.
And I have the things that I'm already doing. Right. So I said, I'm listening. And I know like maybe 10 years ago, I would have probably jumped right in, but now the world is different for me.
Yeah.
And my family is very important to me. My grandkids,
Right.
being with them, my friends, being able to have a moment where I can take a breath, finally. And I just said, that was your dream.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to tell her, I was like, it's a great dream, but it was yours.
Right.
But I don't feel like that's what I want to do right now. And that's okay.
That's very okay.
We got to know when we got to know when to hold and when to fold, but to say when it works for you and when it doesn't.
Right. It's got to be easy and it's got to be fun. And I think we've all had that conversation with each other. Easy and fun.
Right.
Forget it. Like there's only but so many hours in a day. Right. So, and we know we've taken up a bunch of your time today, Rickie. So thank you. Couple of things I think before we close. I think it's really important for everyone to know where they can find you, Rickie. Okay. So do you want to run through that? I probably just sort of know it off the top of my head, but
show me what you're working with.
I'll show you what I'm working with. Okay. You can find Rickie every Sunday morning from 10 a.m. to noon Pacific Standard Time on Facebook. If you go to Rickie Byars, you can watch her and everyone.
Okay, you can go to rickiebyars.org in case you don't want to go through Facebook, rickiebyars.org. Okay, so that's, or you could go to youtube.com and put up Rickie Byars. So we do it through YouTube, through facebook.com/Rickie Byars. You can get there. Okay.
Okay, you know what, I'm so used to tuning into Facebook. That's why. Okay, you can also go to listen to Rickie Byars Radio 24/7 at bradio.org. Mm-hmm. You can also find Rickie and purchase like music, and I've actually got a couple of my things on there. I've got the cards and candles, anything you buy from me that comes through the Bee Hood or anything through Rickie, a part of that money is going straight back to Rickie to support the artist and anything and everything she wants to put that back into. So that can be found at b-hood.org.
Right.
And did I miss anything else?
That's good enough.
Okay. Will you come back and visit with us again?
It would be my honor. It's been a stone gas, honey.
Right on.
Well, I love you. And Candace, where can people find you?
You can find me on CandaceThomasIntuitive.com. I'm also on Instagram at Candace Intuitive. And on Facebook, I'm also Candace Thomas Intuitive.
I love it because Candace,
where can we find you?
Something cool, and she'll say, and you can DM me. And I'm like, that sounds so young. I love it because Candace is definitely younger than me. She's like, you can hit me up on the DMs. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I usually say you can slide to my DMs, but again, every time it takes me a minute. Like they just changed it all around again, so it just takes me a minute to find people who are sliding in there, which I apologize for. I will get back to you once I figure it out. Yeah.
Well, I guess people could probably slide into a DM for me too, but probably the easiest place to catch up with me is on LinkedIn, Terry, Terri, last name Dean, Dean. Or you can go to the femcity.com website. I'm all over their information. And any comments, suggestions, we'll put links to all of Rickie's places where you can find her in the show notes. and on YouTube. And if anybody listening would be kind enough to give Candace and I a subscription on YouTube, we would love it. We're up to like 16 people now because we're still fairly new, but we'd love for those numbers to grow. So thank you for your support. We're here. Message either one of us. And also you can find Rickie at rickiebb@gmail.com and reach out to her directly too, because I know
Rickie Byars at Gmail.
Rickie Byars. Oh, would I say Rickie BB?
That's okay. I kept
That's the old one I'm using, I think. Okay. Rickie Byars at gmail.com.
But Rickie BB is good. I just,
okay.
I make the B mean something else.
Okay.
Rickie
We'd love to talk to you
more.
more.
You be badass.
I mean, badass and brilliant and beautiful. So anyway, thank you a ton. This has been great. I love you both, and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Name this song is Walk. You keep